Greetings, Earthlings, humanoids, and androids, and other sentient AI. My name is Troy Benier, and I'm with the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And today we have a nice film coming to us, highly nominated, a very good piece of work, short sci-fi called DisConnected. DisConnected, coming from Austin. What is this? Austin, California, something like that, Texas. Director named Mr. Karl Stelter is joining us to discuss his film and all the good works that come from it. So let's listen in. Greetings.
Hello, how are you?
Doing very well. We're live and in full effect.
Excellent. I gotta say, I love your background, like the wardrobe, like you are this is everything you would hope a behind the scenes interview would kick off as.
Yeah, this is just a mildly, of course, I'm in a space station a little bit far from Earth and the Moon and the Lagrange number 2 orbit. I'm right next to the Webb telescope. I can see out the window on this side
Good
because
deal.
it's real busy. But I'm using its backdrop as the shielding from the solar flux that is causing all this havoc these days. And speaking of havoc, you had a delay in logistics this morning, and
I
that is
did.
a result, we had to reschedule this interview.
Yeah, I think it might have actually been caused by the geomagnetic storm. But luckily made it back to Los Angeles this morning. They got it back on track. They're able to deflect enough. So here we are.
As beautiful as it is, this awesome rainbow aura coming from the solar flux, it is quite dangerous because the planetary shield that we have is keeping us from being erased off the surface of the Earth. So we're quite fortunate to have this magnetosphere, or some used to say in the old days, in the last century, they called them the Van Allen belts. Yes. So tell us a little bit about you, Karl, and the story of the film.
Yeah. So I'll give a quick summary of like my career, how I kind of got here. So I think maybe the most relevant piece of information is just that I didn't go to film school. Like I didn't even know film was a career you could pursue really until after college. So for anyone out there who's contemplating like, are you too old to get into it? All these stories about, oh, it's just filmmaker. They grew up with a camera in hand. I would say like you don't have to pay attention to that. That's just one version of the story, and you can absolutely go out there and learn and make some incredible work and tell some incredible stories. So so I've been out in Los Angeles for the last, let's say, 14 years now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's been a minute. I decided to move out and teach myself I bought like a Canon 7D back when DSLRs came out because I couldn't afford the 5D version, because it was too expensive. But yeah, that kind of provided the basis of just going out, shooting things, learning, editing, putting it all together. So and then I guess bringing it to DisConnected, this is actually my first endeavor on the sci-fi front, even though I've been a huge sci-fi fan for a long time. I loved reading sci-fi when I was a kid. I love watching sci-fi. Like I usually lose the have you seen this movie game in general, but at least if it's a sci-fi, I hold my ground all right.
Okay, good. Good. So are you familiar with Robotech?
Robotech. What is Robotech?
Okay, that's maybe a little dating. Robotech is the American version of Macross.
Okay.
Japanese anime.
Nice. I was just gonna say on the anime front, Cowboy Bebop was actually the series that got me into filmmaking. Like that it put the initial piece in place. It just made such a deep emotional impact for me in college. And that stayed with me. Like I knew film could like really have a powerful message. I didn't think of it as accessible. So kind of a fun tie-in actually to the film is in some of those opening shots. where you see Mina, there's actually a bonsai plant in there in honor of Cowboy Bebop and Jet.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, how did you? Well, first of all, I've got to go down this list. Okay, I have to go down this list. Your film was nominated for Best Practical Effects in a Short, and it's going to be on the list if it isn't already on the website. It was also nominated for Best Sci-Fi Short. It was nominated for Best Set Design. And also, Matthew Polkamp was nominated for Best Actor.
Heck yeah. Yeah, he's great. I mean, these are all things that like I am more than anything just proud of the team and like what we were able to pull together.
Right,
Like,
right.
I think that's why I think I ended up choosing to direct, is like I just love working with people and like providing, here's like the vision and the sandbox of like, here's where I want to stay, and communicate that tone, and then let their creativity really come to life. Like on the production design side, like that thing he picks up off the ground that I'm not even sure how to describe. Like he had just found like some disparate parts at like a sci-fi shop and was like, oh, these look cool together. Like, what do you think? And I was like, hell yeah, they do. Like, let's, how are you going to put it together? But like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that's to have this many nominations illustrates that you have such a high caliber film, meaning that, okay, great film, right? That's the nomination of Best Sci-Fi Short. But to have the technicals, okay, the technicals, which are what makes it really stand out in those categories: Best Set Design, Best Practical Effects. Um, what was the third one that we said there?
Matthew Polkamp.
Yeah, of course, to deliver the ability to carry a story with actresses who, just have dimension. So they're not. One thing, Brooklyn Murphy, she's one of our judges, and she really wanted to be here today, but she got pulled away on some rescue mission of some type that had her flying somewhere. But she points out that actors, you can have a great actor, but they could be very one-dimensional. They're only one type of actor. They don't display more emotion other than one. When you have an actor that has broad range of different types of emotions, all within the same film, that's a big deal. Those are metrics that are noticeable. And that's one of the reasons why Matthew stood out so well and was nominated. This is a very competitive festival. There was one, two, three other people that were in the nomination. So, like I said, it's highly competitive, highly competitive festival this year. So, to me, a selection is a win because you've got hundreds of films that weren't selected. A nomination is even better than the selection. Okay, so that's a win on top of that win, right? Because you have this batch of selections, but only a portion of them ever make it to nomination. Right?
Yep.
And there are a lot of categories of nomination, different metrics. So if you get a bundle, okay, you've got a bundle of nominations. That really says a lot, okay. And I'm not trying to discount the win, right? I'm not trying to discount the win, but second place ain't bad.
No,
Okay?
I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, on like
look at it like this way. The films that were nominated in the Oscars, there's one winner, and then there's a handful of nominees. Do you think those nominees are bad films?
Oh yeah, no,
They're going to be
that's a
as
great
good, if not
corollary.
better, as good, if not better, than the one that was selected. Because art is very subjective.
Yep.
So you can't go wrong. It's a really really awesome thing. So we like to tell folks that we have a significant batch of films that are nominees, and we guarantee those films nominee in many other festivals if they would publish their nominee list. We're one of the few festivals that publish our nominee list. So, because we feel those are awards by themselves. You're not going to get a trophy out of it, but it's still an award, right? It's still
Yeah.
recognition that carries a lot of weight and should be communicated as such. So, taking us on to one of our next questions, I'd like to know, how did you and Hussein meet? He was also
Mm,
a producer such as yourself, but he's
yeah.
credited as the screenwriter. How did that
Yeah.
process happen, and the selection of his story?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had this story in mind for, I think, over a decade. Like I
Wow.
had the bones of that world, but it had really only solidified recently. And one of my goals was I wanted to collaborate with a writer, not just write everything myself, but like find someone who's excellent at that. Just like you find an excellent cinematographer, an excellent editor, like whoever it is that you love working with, like find those people and grow those relationships. So I had met Hussein, I want to say, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, just through a friend, actually through the cinematographer of DisConnected. Like he and Hussein knew each other. That's how I met Hussein. I read some of his work. I read a TV pilot that was a sci-fi in particular, and I loved it. Like I thought it was super strong, and I could see the world. Like I felt like he got that grounded, emotionally driven sci-fi that is what I wanted to make. So
Mhm.
I talked with him. I pitched him the idea, and I said, look, I would love to collaborate with you, like as a director, and like develop this. Like you write this thing, and you own the writing, and like from there, we'll build the team around that story. So it was honestly so fun to bring him in. Like that opening sequence with the test and what that test achieved and how it was put together, like that was all his idea. So like he brought so much to the film, and he stayed involved throughout it as well, like through
Mhm.
post. The only reason he wasn't on set is because between when I had pitched him to write this and when we shot, he had actually gotten picked up as a staff writer for FBI International. So he's now up there and working and absolutely crushing it on the TV front. Um,
Mm.
so
What
yeah,
what what
I was
shows in
just
particular?
oh, he's writing on FBI International. I think that's the one
It's
that
a
it's
TV
called.
series.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Oh,
is it Dick Wolf, I think. It's like yeah,
oh
but
wow.
yeah,
Yeah, Dick
he's
Wolf.
written a
Yeah.
number of episodes now that have come out, have aired. But I think, and that's one thing that if I was going to give myself any pats on the back, it's that I think I can identify like who is super good and passionate about what they do and like try and try and build that
Yeah.
relationship early.
Yeah. Oh, that's kudos to Hussein, man. That's great. We love to hear these kinds of stories. You know, good writer. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to your team. That's a
Yeah.
that's a big deal. Um, okay. Well, that's good. That's good news. So, and you're also a producer in the film as well.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So, what
I,
was it like getting all the bells and whistles together to greenlight the project?
yeah. I mean, the green lighting of it was just, I'm paying for it. Like I just saved
Right.
up to pay for it.
Right.
So green light was really, when Hussein and I felt, the script is ready. Like
Sure.
it feels airtight. Because that's something I'd learned in a couple previous shorts is like, if you
Right.
have even a seed of, there's like, we'll figure it out here, or it's not 100% there, like, it's
Right.
not ready to shoot. Don't spend your time
Right.
shooting it yet. Like, go back to the script because you're going to spend like all those hours you spend on the script are multiplied by how much time you're going to put into it once you go into production and post production. but also everyone who is you're bringing on to collaborate. Like you owe it to them to make it the best possible script that you can in that moment. It doesn't mean
Yes.
get it perfect, because like we were talking about a little bit before we jumped on here. There's no such thing as perfect, but there is as good as you can make it at that moment in time. And when you reach that, then it's time to go.
Yeah, and a lot of times scripts also evolve on set.
Yeah,
Scripts
yeah, they
also
do.
evolve on set,
They do.
and sometimes even actors play a role. You know, male, female actors play a role, and add to the script somewhere along the line. That happens.
Yep.
You know, not to be beating on the horse here, but in Blade Runner with what's his name, the android Rolf, was that Rolf Lundgren? What was his name? That played in Blade Runner in the end.
I'm not sure offhand.
With Harrison Ford. That was Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer. He ad-libbed on one of the last lines in the film, which became the critical a critical phrase, critical line in the movie to this day. And that was all. Let's see here. It was all. Give me a second here. Give me a second. It's really a big deal because Rutger, he actually had some films at the festival. Roy Beatty, his phrase was he rewrote his character's speech himself and presented the words to the director on the set prior to filming, and they let him do it. It's a 42-word monologue.
Dang, yeah.
And it was, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched C-beams glitter in the dark near Tannhauser's Gate. All these moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. And then he dies.
So good.
Time to die.
So good.
Shogun.
Yeah.
A glorious death. And that piece just, it transcends, like, from then all the way to present day. It's an amazing piece from the Blade Runner universe, which the Blade Runner universe, like I mentioned earlier at a previous interview, Blade Runner and Aliens. I think there's a third film, Predator. Right?
Yeah.
They're all in the same universe, in the same timeline, sort of like the same timeline. Of course, Predator would be earlier, but if you go fast forward, but Blade Runner and Aliens is the same timeline, same universe, and that company that was making those, robots and all of this stuff, that in the spaceships that you see, telling colonists to go off world and stuff, that's Weyland-Yutani from Alien, the same corporation.
I don't know that I actually knew that. That's awesome.
It's crazy,
man. How did I not know that? That makes me so much more excited. I love it.
Let me do something real quick here. Weyland-Yutani, because Weyland-Yutani was a hostile takeover. Weyland-Yutani is the alien Easter egg in Blade Runner.
Nice.
That's right. Alien shares a universe with Blade Runner. How the movies connect.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Keep. It's like, keep crushing it to get the juice out. So, so tell me a little more about your original score process, because Christy Carew, is that the right?
Carew, yeah.
Christy Carew brought that together, and it's a real nice score, man. Bear in mind, folks, the movie's only 6-something minutes long, but it feels a little longer than that. It's done that well. Okay, you watch it, you're really focused on the film, and it has a great musical score. Enlighten us a little bit about that, Karl.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with Christy. I mean, and I'll take one step back as well. Like, I think what made this film work so well is that I brought back as many collaborators as I could for my other shorts. Like, if
Oh,
I love, like, you just keep building who you love working with. So like, I had met Joe on my first short. I brought him back to shoot this one. I met Christy on my first short, actually. And I brought her back for, multiple projects. So we've kind of built a relationship
right.
that way. Like on this one, the VFX artist, I actually didn't know before this project, but now that we've worked together, like I will trust him with anything. And
Yeah.
I
What
worked
was the
with
name
him
of
on
the
other
VFX?
projects as well.
What was the VFX?
Danny Shepard.
Danny Shepard. Was it a
Danny
company
Shepard,
or is
yeah.
it just him himself?
He's one of the founders of Ismahawk.
Ismahawk. I like that name. Ismahawk.
Yeah.
That's
He does a
awesome.
lot of like action superhero kind of stuff. His work's incredible.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And this was shot in Los Angeles, right? It wasn't shot in Austin.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Okay.
But I do want to get back to Christy as well, because I gave her a very difficult job in that I had cut some temp music in, as most filmmakers will do at some point, and you just love it too much. But like, you're not using what you have there. So how do you work with, okay, like I know the emotion and what I want to get from this, and usually with all my collaborators, I'll write up like a full, I call it like a Bible, like a music Bible for Christy, for example, and I'll have a playlist and what it's supposed to feel like, where the turns are. Like I'll lay out a lot of that up front, and then we'll just talk about it. And one of the songs that I remember we worked really hard on was when like the chip starts glowing red and you kind of start sinking into like everything's going to shit. And that music initially was the song, I wish I could remember the name. It's from Sicario, when they're going into the desert and it goes like like that, like really intense. Like you're sinking through tar into hell. And I just freaking love that song. So her job was, look, how do you take that idea of like, you are sinking into this, it's inexorable. I think I described it like you're being pulled towards a black hole. Like that's what I wanted you to kind of feel. Like there's no stopping it. You're looking right at it, and like that's it. So she took that with like enough of a sci-fi blend. She found some really cool sounds. She had actually, the sound of this is something I loved in post as well, was really blending the sound design and the music. So the sound of the chip, that kind of, I don't know how you want to describe it, almost like purring, if you will. That was actually something Christy had come up with. And I was like, I really like that. And then I gave it to my sound design team, and I had them communicate with Christy and pass things back and forth. Like, so the sound design kind of took that as the inspiration, and then they molded it into where it is now and the different iterations of that. So I think if you actually strip back what is sound design and what is music, kind of similar to Sunshine, which was a reference for me for sound design, you'd be surprised at which is which I love.
That's
Christy is a joy to work with. She, incredible.
Good. No, that's good. You had a really good team, a pretty large team on your film, and they put it all together, and you got a real nice professional piece of work.
Thank you.
So how do you hope your film influences or impacts the audience? Are there any particular themes or messages that you hope viewers will take away?
Yeah, I mean, I think my goal going into this was to give it a lot of layers, kind of like how you were just talking about the layer of that Blade Runner and Alien are in the same world, right? Like I wanted to give it that layer where you could watch it again and you pick something up, and you watch again and you pick something up. But balancing that was, you still have to have the top line story come through.
Yeah, and of course, with shorts, it's not as easy with a short, especially a short like this. It's not as easy.
Easy to get lost.
You have such a tight timeline to tell the story. But real quick before I forget, can we look at the trailer? I'd like to show the trailer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, play it.
Okay, here we go.
It's like sitting in a dark room long enough to where your eyes start playing tricks on you. But then the lights come on, and it's all right there.
What's right there? What did you see?
Keep me safe.
Always.
Oh, that's the sound you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, all of it, like the particle battle I hint at the end, like,
yeah.
man, it's a field day to go, because I like I said, I've never done a sci-fi before, so to like really be able to flex into what sound design and music and VFX, like post was so fun, just seeing like all these layers come together and what that adds to a picture lock. Like,
Are you going to make a sci-fi again, another one?
I mean, as soon as I can, yeah. I love it. I absolutely loved it.
He's hooked.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Good. What screenwriting software did you use?
Well, I didn't use any, but I think Hussein just used Final Draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about editing software?
I edited on Premiere.
Premiere, okay. Premiere Pro. Okay, good. Did you use any specific plugins you're aware of?
No, I mean, I kind of just, I edit it because I can edit sequences very good, but I'm not very fancy in my editing in terms of like manipulating, stuff, or like the way I manipulate things is very, I don't know, I've described it like manual. Like I will put layers and opacities and crop things and just any way you can kind of manipulate the image simply, which kind of reflects actually the very tactile feel that I wanted the film to have too. Like the hallway scene was like one of my favorite 15 seconds of a cut, which is just playing a couple things backwards, do a couple layers, add a little VFX to stretch the shadows so it feels like you're kind of being snapped back into the space that the chip doesn't allow you to go to in your memory, because it's trying to protect you. Like it, but that was all just like manipulation in Premiere. Like it's very straightforward stuff.
What color grading package did you use? Anything, or did you do it all in Premiere?
I did have a colorist. I don't know what she colors in, but I mean, Ariana is phenomenal at what she does, and she brought just such a great texture. Our DP Joe, I made sure he was involved as well with what the look is, because he has also such a great eye, which is again where I think the way I love to work is I'll bring in the right people and then listen to what they think, and they have their pitches, and then I'll choose like, yes, this is fantastic, or like, oh, we'll use that as a springboard to something else. So I mean, just even as color, like that was the same process. Like between me, Joe, and Ariana, we just found like just a beautiful texture. Like the flashbacks don't quite feel like, they feel reminiscent, but they don't feel like it's an old flashback. Like trying to hit that balance of, because we've seen a billion flashbacks and what that can look and feel like. So
was it shot in 4K or greater?
No, 4K. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of camera?
It was on Alexa Mini.
Okay. Good. Awesome. So, couple more questions.
Yeah, hit me.
So let me ask you this one. Here's one here. Looking forward, are there any other genres, other roles, or types of projects you're particularly interested in exploring?
Yeah. I want to make a zombie film.
Okay.
Without quite. I've been working on a feature zombie film for a little bit of time now, and I like the first feature I want to make is whichever one someone will give me money for first, whether it's DisConnected as a feature or the zombie film. But I think both I'm incredibly excited about. So zombie films, zombie films would be the new genre I'd be down.
Okay. And How do you view the evolution of film and storytelling with all this new technology that we're being immersed with? Do you think it's going to be beneficial?
I mean, I think that's a really complex question. Like, I think I'll answer it for me is that I think it can be, I mean, honestly, I don't use AI for much of anything. I know a lot of people
Okay.
do, like maybe it helps speed their creative along. I think it could help a lot with tedious jobs like rotoscoping or some other stuff that I've heard it's, making movement on the VFX side.
Repetitive task, yeah.
Yeah, but what I think it's not going to replace is a person's creative instinct and judgment. Because like, sure, even with whatever the Sora AI that's just like makes videos from, just give it a prompt. It's like, okay, sure, but what is the story? Even assuming like, another 5 years that becomes like really, really good, well, you still have to know how to tell a story, how to build a story, how to build that sequence. Like that's what makes a film exciting. It's not just, oh, that's a beautiful shot. Like we've been well past the point of a beautiful shot is impressive for a long time. Like that kind of opened up back with DSLRs. You're like, oh shit, like this person with a camera and nobody, just good light that he found or made something look great. Like that's what I kind of think Sora is. Like, okay, so you can make something look good, but can you make me feel something?
Right. That's true. And I can tell you, because we have a category. This was our first year that we actually had a lot of AI films. We had this category a couple of years prior, but rarely received anything. It was more VR than AI. And this year was the first year that we actually had a full block of AI films. And they are, just as you say, they're just scenes that are stitched together with narration, and that's it. They're pretty and beautiful to look at, very interesting to watch, but they're scenes. They're not films with dialogue and something that's continuous going through every scene that you can keep following. It's not like that. Will that ever turn into something that could be a short story or a feature? Yes, I think that will happen. I think it'll happen sooner than later. The trick is communicating what you want the AI to do. The prompts. And
in a way that AI understands.
Exactly. Because the AI can do it. It's just that do you have the ability to make it do what you want it to do? I use AI every day at work, and I'm actually building charts and 3D graphics and things like that, two-dimensional graphics and displays. And it's not a one-step process. It's an iteration of processes, and sometimes an iteration of repeating processes. So it's not, the thing can do it, but it's more about how do you tell it to do it? How do you convey what you want your results to look like? And that is the real art, I think, in AI, knowing exactly what words to use and how to place them, here or there, that part of the sentence, because it does matter. It interprets, based on all of these little dynamics. So I think but at the end of the day, I think a trained eye will, the majority of the time, be able to tell that it's not real.
Yeah, I mean, I think, eventually we won't be able to discern which is which, or maybe we will, because there's enough, biology that we see something real versus not real. But even the, once you master, how to give the prompts, like I still think it's that, that lived experience that you have of why is this going to be emotional? How are you going to build it to be emotional? Like that's, putting in the right words together, kind of like, editing, like, okay, but can you edit well? Can you tell the story well? Can you put the pieces together in the correct order? So that's why I'm like, sure, there will be AI movies and maybe, great, let's just have AI do all social media and talk to it social media on its own, and we'll just step back and let social media be its own
Yeah,
strange
yeah,
circle of robots.
let those things talk
Like,
themselves. I don't want to hear
if I
it.
don't make a TikTok video ever in my life, an AI can do that for me. Like, thank you, AI.
Indeed, indeed. All right, well, let's go to some of the fun stuff here. Not to say that it's been fun already, but you kind of already went down the direction of science fiction. Do you have a favorite series, a TV series that you like right now?
Oh, like current?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What
I
do you
mean,
watch? What do you watch?
I'm not, honestly, I'm not watching a lot these days. I have a
Okay.
2 and a 4-year-old, so the
Oh,
time
forget
for
it.
series and movies is limited.
Yeah,
It's a limited series.
do you know Come Play With Me?
I've seen the posters,
The
I think.
dolls, the little dolls that are talking to each other on the internet.
Oh no, then maybe not. No.
2 boys, 2 girls. What you got?
One of each. Yeah, older is the daughter, she's 4, and then the younger is a
She
son
hasn't
too.
hit. Maybe she hasn't hit it yet, but does she look at YouTube?
So she's watching Star Wars, man. She's seen A New Hope.
Good.
I'm gonna get her started on the Clone Wars soon. Like,
Good,
yeah,
good,
we're
good.
on that track.
Likewise, my daughter, she knows this, and we actually went to see the Phantom Menace last weekend.
Oh, I thought about doing that, and then I was like, trying to find A New Hope, and I couldn't find it, and I was like, I don't know, maybe like, do I want to do Phantom Menace for her first theater experience? I was like, really close, and I ended up not doing it, and now I regret it.
Well, it's still in the theaters. It may be, she might be a little too young for it, because there's a couple scenes that are a little rough, scary, a little scary.
Yeah.
But I did it because her and I play Star Wars Lego game online on Xbox, and I wanted her to see what a real pod racing looks like.
Oh yeah, yes, 100%, 100%.
On the big screen, so she had that.
You can feel that, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
Well, then let me ask you this: you're a Star Wars or Star Trek
fan? Star Wars, yeah. Star Wars. I mean, my dad's a Star Trek fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. Take that how you will.
ask him which Star Trek he likes the most.
Yeah, I will have to ask. That's a good question.
He'll probably say DS9.
All right.
DS9
report back.
It has the best writing of all Star Trek. The best writing.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Best storytelling. Well, listen, Karl, it's been an awesome pleasure.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. I love getting to just talk, honestly talk up my collaborators, because like I'm so proud of them. Like it's been a journey to get here. You just keep making films and you keep trying to learn every time. And I'm just so happy that this one is hitting with an audience, that it's hitting home. Like I mean, it might sound strange, but honestly, like I haven't seen that trailer in a while now, and like seeing it just reminded me of so much of like, what did I put into it? Like, why did I make it? Which I guess, for anyone who's stuck around this long, I'll give you the birthplace of like why I made this film, and why I oriented it this way is my wife and I had difficulty like having kids to start. We'd experienced a miscarriage, and so in my brain, like I immediately, I mean not immediately, but I was just thinking through like if I could basically just flip a switch that's just constantly there. It's always an option for me, assuming you have the chip here. If I could just say, you know what, rewrite that memory to my daughter didn't die. In this film, would I do that? And like in real life, if I could see, my daughter who would be like 6 now or something like that, would I just imagine that she's 6 and just live in that world? And you'd never know once you chose that. That's what I wanted to explore. Like to this day, I don't know what I would choose.
Wow.
But I think.
Yeah, you never know how difficult it is until you start talking to your neighbors about the topic.
Yeah. And that's
that it happens to a lot of people. Absolutely.
It's a lot. Yeah. And I think I can go off on a large tangent there, but I think if people know about it And even if they're taught about it, in education in school early, so it's not like a surprise, that would help just normalize it. Like it is a normal thing. It's not an easy thing, but it does happen.
No, not at all. Yeah, well, whew, what a note.
Yeah, we can find a different note if you want.
Yeah. Well, what I'd like to do is I'm going to show the trailer again, and we'll just tune off. But stand by.
Will do.
All right.
It's like sitting in a dark room long enough to where your eyes start playing tricks on you. But then the lights come on, and it's all right there.
What's right there? What did you see?
Keep me safe.